everybody? Welcome to the Comments from the Peanut Gallery podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Kurtz. I'm here with my man, Swahv, Joey McClellan. What's up, man?
What's good, bro? What's good?
Doing pretty good, man. Thank you very much for taking the time to come on the show today. So, y'all got a new single out right now from Lion League. Tell us a little bit about that.
It's called Allen Iverson. And, you know, the reason why I called it Allen Iverson is just because the beat that I chopped up, it had this real, like, energetic Allen Iverson kind of vibe to it. It was a beat that I felt was really dope, like Allen Iverson is. And, you know, when I be naming beats, it just is fucking random. Sometimes shit just pops in there. And I just tied the dopeness of the beat to the name. And then so I sent the joint to my boy J-Man the King. Shout out J-Man. He chose the beat initially for some other shit, and then we decided we wanted to put it on this new project. And then we got my man Tino.
Yep.
Boy, you know.
Shout out to the Smooth Spastic.
Shout out to the smoothest next to, you know, Swahv, of course. We, you know, he laid down just a cold ass, I think he's like even like a 24 bar, 32 bar verse. And, you know, J-Man flew out and we shot a real quick, impromptu, spontaneous ass video that came out really clean. You know, we basically just went to Rolling More and hooped, and I got a bunch of footy.
It was pretty cool. I was just like, oh shit, when I saw the video, like, that's literally right down the power trail from my house right over here.
Yeah, bro. And I live right around the corner, actually, from you. I just realizing I live a fucking mile away.
Yeah.
I was right off of Stewart Street. You know what I'm saying? Rolling More is like right over there, too. So.
Small world.
Yeah, man. It's crazy. It's crazy.
So, how long have you been in the production game? Tell everybody a little bit more about yourself. You know, about what you got going
on. So production in itself, the hip hop production, I've been doing for about 7 years now. I've been sharpening that sword for since I was about 20, and I got into some music stuff with some guys way back when. And it really kind of inspired me to branch off and do my own thing. And I really have always had an interest in beats. You know, I have some homies that kind of put me on game to that. My homie Koi, I call him the sensei, because he put me on game to, you know, Fruity Loops and shit and like sampling. And I fell in love with hip hop a long time ago, and I like was really intrigued by Otis Redding and, you know, RZA and shit, and like the sampling styles of these like 90s cats. And so I was always really intrigued, but I decided to dive in about 7 years ago. And after like that first kind of failed venture that we did, I decided to do my own thing, you know, start my own label and kind of do it my own way, you know what I mean?
So how long has Lion League been in effect for? How long have you been running with that?
I've been running with that since 2013 is when we came up with the name. Okay. Came up with the concept, and then I've been slowly developing the business as well as my skills as a producer during that time period. Now I feel like I'm just now reaching a level of skill and confidence and business acumen to like really do this the right way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So for everybody that's out there listening, where can they follow you? Where can they learn more about Lion League, the business, you know, all everything that you got going on with your artists?
Best place to stay, tuned in with my shit at all times would be Instagram, Facebook, lionleaguemusic.com. I got everything up there. You go to Lion League Music, all one word, on YouTube, and we be doing vlogs on that motherfucker. We be posting videos, all of our music, everything goes up there. So yeah, man. YouTube, lionleaguemusic.com, Facebook, and Instagram. Those are all the places that you can find me. and that's how you could stay locked in, because I promote and I go hard over there.
Very nice, man. So you've got a nice little section with some of the different artists that you work with on your site. Tell us a little bit more about who you're working with mostly on the regular.
On the regular, Tino, that's my dude. Since like day one, he's one of the first people to like fuck with me, like to tell me like, yo, bro, your music's dope. Like that beat's dope. Show that shit to people. I was like, fuck yeah. I had a bunch of confidence from that because Tino was just dope ass rapper. So Tino's I was like, sick, man. Tino has been dope as fuck. Dope as fuck. So I was really amped about that. So I had some confidence to show some other motherfuckers, and then it just really like skyrocketed from there. So Tino's one, J-Man the King, Kent Washington. That's a dude that I've been working with a lot, and for several years now, and he's out here grinding hard. Shout out Kent. Couple of new cats I'm working with: Sean Mercer, Seisu Solomon, my boy Casual from over at Conscious Minds. I'm working with a shitload of artists. I'm really just trying to build with a bunch of dudes that I fuck with. Like a bunch of artists that are local that I think have bars and that are dope as fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I get you there. So you mentioned being a fan of kind of, like the sampling style in terms of production and whatnot.
Yeah.
I've got to ask you, just because there's been two, real big things that have came out recently, on that side of things. What do you think of the new Kanye joints? The Yay and then the Kids See Ghosts.
Okay. So, I listened to, so here's my thing, man. So I listened to the Pusha T, and I was like, I was expecting so much from Pusha T, and I was expecting so much from the Kanye production. Pusha T always brings bars. Like we all know that. But Kanye's production, I was like all amped and hyped about this like soul samples and like back to Kanye doing Kanye, and it's just like it was all over the place to me, and it made me really disappointed. So I haven't listened to Ye yet. I haven't listened to Ye yet because of that. Because I'm just like, and he's also been rubbing me the wrong way a lot lately. And I know that like, as a Kanye fan, you kind of got to roll with him and respect him and understand that he's going through some shit. And I've given the dude so many chances in my book. So at this point, I'm just having a hard time. I'm struggling. But, I'm going to end up listening to it. Let's be real. I'm going to end up listening to it. I fucking love Kid Cudi, by the way. I'm just sleeping on that. I haven't got to it yet.
I'll be honest with you. I was right there with you. I was right there on the edge, about ready to be off the Kanye train, saying fuck it to what he's done, And, to kind of touch on the Pusha T album, like, I don't know, like, I like Pusha, don't get me wrong, but I've never really expected to be overwhelmed by anything that he's done. Like, you're gonna get consistent bars, you're gonna get some, some good punchlines and things of that sort, but I never really expect to be, like, floored, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, does that make sense?
Absolutely.
But, especially after hearing the Pooper Scooper track, like, fucking Lift Yourself or whatever that shit was from Kanye, I was ready to be, fuck this dude, especially after, his TMZ rant is...
I know,
fucking Make America Great hat, appearances.
All that shit is
all
of
rough. That, like, I was ready to be completely off. But then, listening to Ye, and then listening to Kids See Ghosts, and it was just like, okay, there's real Mr. West. Happening. The real Mr. West is still alive somewhere inside of him.
And I think I know that to be possible. And, a different, because I heard he's working on the Nas album too, bro. Like, I heard he's like out here on Nas production and shit. I'm like, fuck, bro. Like, then I think, how did Daquan put it or some shit on Instagram? He said some shit like, that's like, fuck, give it like lighting something on fire or some shit, bro. It's like, it could be ashes afterwards, or a beautiful phoenix can come from it. You know what I mean? So I'm just like kind of scared for what Kanye would do to a Nas album. I don't know. We'll see. I hope for the best, because I love Kanye and he's he's made some of the dopest shit of my life and some of my favorite music ever.
Yep.
You know, it's like straight up nostalgia listening to that
absolutely.
shit. You know what I mean?
You know,
But
you can go back to listening to, you know, any one of College Dropout, Late Registration, Graduation, to 808s. Any, like, I mean, a lot of people slept on 808s. I liked 808s personally because I felt like if you're a person who's had different sorts of life experiences, you could understand where some of that shit was.
I did, and the thing is like sonically, the songs were dope. They had, you know, like the hits were crazy. It's just like sonically is where it didn't. That shit, 808s and Heartbreaks is like for me is like that's where I didn't resonate. That's where I like stopped resonating with Kanye. It was like because sonically it changed so much because that was like the first time he decided to really go a different way with shit. You know what I mean? Go real experimental with the hip hop. And so that whenever artists do that shit, like I always respect the effort. You know what I'm saying? And I always respect the message and all of the artistry behind it. But a lot of times sonically it doesn't resonate with me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The beats and like the way that it is portrayed necessarily. You know what I'm saying? Like To Pimp a Butterfly, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a fantastic record artistically. Right. You know what I'm saying? And if you look at it like artistically as a whole and like the visuals and the whole packaging of it and the activism behind it, that shit was fucking amazing. But like sonically, like I just don't fuck with freeform jazz. You know what I'm saying? And then like the like the slam poetry style over the freeform jazz kind of just like I didn't sonically, you know, it didn't resonate with me. You feel me?
Oh yeah, I could totally understand that. Yeah, I could totally understand that.
Like Yeezus, I don't know, that shit was trash. That shit was, I really disliked it. Like New Slaves was cool, but like everything else on that shit was just like
angry.
Rough, bro. Yeah, it's rough.
You know, like I feel like though, you know, with the each of those different records though, like the only one that I really kind of just didn't think was that, like, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good either, was Pablo. But you know, like I feel like
but you know, like the Madlib joint was real dope. Like No Parties in LA, like that shit was dope. Like
just like if I think though in terms of like classic Kanye records, like you know, like
totally
there's multiple songs or multiple tracks that you can totally go back to at any point in time, and it's gonna fit and gonna be able to bump. You know, like My Beautiful Dark and Twisted Fantasy. Like I still
many great
love
songs.
that.
Yeah, no, there's so many great songs on that shit, bro.
You know, like I was just listening to,
and it's not like
you know,
Yeezus, boom, he's done. It's like because Twisted Fantasy was after Yeezus, wasn't it?
No, it was before.
Oh, it was before. Okay, okay. I'm tripping.
Yeah, it was before. That was right before Life of Pablo.
Right. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense,
like
bro.
he was at an angry point. You know, that was when the whole Nike restriction thing, you know, the label restriction sort of stuff was going on.
Yeah.
So, you know, like that was his anger being exuded through his music. When 808s, you know, I think it was such a different time for him experimenting, because that's right after he had the big breakup that he was, you know, going through the depression with Amber Rose, like the first time she started fucking gaming dudes for real. And then that was also the first album, correct me if I'm wrong though, that was the first full album since his mom had died. Like, because Roses was on Graduation, but I think that was one of the last tracks put on.
Is that? Yeah, was Yeezus after?
Yeah, Yeezus was after Dark Twisted Fantasy, but 808s was like, you know, 808s was almost like 10 years ago, I think. Like, 'cause a lot of those songs were like I remember first, you know, coming to college with, you know, like Love Lockdown and those sort of songs.
Yeah, that's true, bro. Like,
time flies.
Yeah, bro. Like, it's just crazy because, like, I feel like Yeezus, he promoted like that. He promoted that shit so hard, and the hype around it was so big. And then when the shit dropped, bro, it was just like one of those like major letdowns because he was coming off
it was a bull in a china closet.
It was so rough, dude. I don't know. I just remember thinking that, be like, oh, what the fuck
Yeah,
just
half the
happened,
crash sounded
dude.
like a car crash.
Legit, legit. And you know, like Cole said it. Cole said it best. He said that there's like a lot of yes men in his circle, and I think like after he dropped that shit and Pablo, you know, like that crazy scattered all over the place, no like continuity or no just centralized
Not
like
to mention he married the gold
Kanye.
digger of gold diggers.
Oh fuck. So yeah, so there's all those aspects at play. I still like deep down. I still got love. I still got love for Kanye deep down. You know, and but it's right now. I'm like
No,
having a hard time. I'm struggling. So I gotta. I'll give him a chance, bro. Like I'll give him I'll give Ye a solid chance. I love Cudi, so I'm gonna give that shit a chance. And like Cudi and Ye, they make different music when they get together. You know what I'm saying? Then apart.
And Kid, like, I'm a huge Kid Cudi fan too myself, and I'm glad to see that he's in a better place.
Me too, man.
Mentally,
I could tell he's just a lot more stable. You know what I'm
like
saying, with this shit.
Where he was, going facing some real demons the way that he had been. So it's good to see that he's actually putting out work.
Fuck yeah, man! Absolutely.
Yep. So I gotta ask you, as a producer, who's your favorite hip hop producer of all time?
Oh, easy. DJ Premier.
DJ Premier. Okay.
DJ Premier. Primo. Yeah. Definitely my favorite. Couple other favorites, more current. Eric Arc Elliott. Dope as fuck. Flatbush Zombies. And Mike Will made it, bro. Mike Will made it. I know that he's like.
Okay.
I know that he's like new school or whatever, and like a little like trappier or whatever, but he's dope as fuck. Like I rarely is there a time that I don't fuck with a Mike Will made it beat. I love his style. A couple other producers would be like fucking, like Pete Rock, Large Pro, Dre, you know what I'm saying, Warren G. I could go on and on and on. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, those are some top. Warren G and Daz, bro. Daz was like responsible. A lot of motherfuckers don't know this, bro, but like All Eyes on Me was a lot of Daz. Like Dre, he did like 2 joints. He did like 2 records on that motherfucker, bro. Like Daz Dillinger, Snoop Dogg's cousin, produced a lot of that motherfucker. All Eyes on Me. Yeah, dude. For real.
Yeah, I've seen the DPG live a couple of times.
Yeah, DPG's tight as fuck, bro. Corrupt is a legend.
I met Corrupt at the Rehab pool party in Vegas.
Bro, Rehab. I went to fucking Encore for the first time last year. The Encore pool party. Okay. I was like, what the fuck is this craziness? It's chaos, bro. People fucking in the pool.
Vegas. This guy is one of them. So, you want to hear a story? You want to hear a Vegas story?
Yeah, let's get one. Let's get it.
So, go out to Vegas. It's one of my best friend's bachelor parties. And so, just a weekend trip. But it's like fresh out of college, don't really have shit for money. Damn near out broke as it is. But so go out to Vegas, ready to rip and roll for the weekend. And it was a holiday weekend nonetheless. So we go through the weekend, and that last night we go out and we're in the casino, and Vegas is Vegas, and just got completely fucked up.
I'm surprised.
And end up losing track of time. Somehow thought that I was partying with Jacoby Jones when it was definitely not Jacoby Jones. And so I got separated from my friends. I was supposed to be flying out early that morning. Finally come to out of my blacked out stupor at, about 2 hours before my flight. So I get to the airport about an hour before, but with it being a holiday weekend, they sold my seat. I have to, because I had to be at work the next day, I had to pay for an entire other flight to get back Well, some people said, well, drive a car. Oh, really? So I just been up for basically 3 days straight partying in Vegas. You want me to fucking drive a car back from Vegas? That sounds like a real safe decision.
That shit,
No, thank you.
that shit ain't gonna happen.
So I had to fly back, and the return flight to get back to Colorado was more expensive than the rest of my entire trip that I had in Vegas.
Of course.
Just completely decimated the bank account on that side of it.
Motherfuckers. Not like, did you do any gambling? Did you lose any money before that?
I did lose a little bit of money gambling, but not too terribly.
A reasonable amount?
Just because, I was keeping myself within reason, because, I don't have a whole lot of money to be fucking with gambling anyway. Yeah. So, a little bit, yes. But then I go, and then I just completely screwed the pooch, end up missing my flight and having to get back home that way, and just basically tap out the entire account on that side of things for this trip. And not only that, I don't get a direct flight home. I get a connecting flight through possibly the worst fucking airport in America. Salt Lake City Airport, fuck you. You guys suck.
Get it together, Salt Lake.
Terrible, man.
Get it together.
There was, no outlets that you could find around there to be able to charge up your phone. And worse than that, I left my charger in the hotel room in Vegas. And so, because I missed the flight with my friends, I did not have a ride home from the airport once I got back to Denver. So I had to then buy a charger. They didn't have in the salt. This is also why I say fuck this airport, because they didn't have any electronic stores, like the little convenience stores in my terminal to be able to go and buy an iPhone charger, one of the most common chargers out there in the world. And they had these. Yeah. All they had was vending machines, but they were Best Buy vending machines. So I put in my, swipe my card. Best Buy vending machines. I put in my card, and for $40, swipe it for, trying to get a charger. Back then I had an iPhone 5. Press it, and it spits out a charger for a different phone. They're like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. There's nobody there to process a refund. So then I have no choice but to swipe the card again for another $40. And then it spit out the right one, but there's nobody there to process my exchange, so I had to spend $80 for one charger to be able to power up my phone just to call somebody while at the airport in Salt Lake City. So I called my boy to be able to, I was like, hey man, I don't want to even talk about it right now. I just need to know if you can come and pick me up from DIA. I missed my flight earlier. It's not good. Just come and pick me up if you can. It was like, all right, cool. So he came and picked me up, and he had a big old baseball bat waiting right there once we were waiting. So it was enough to put the mind and the stress away. But it was like, fuck, man, that was absolutely awful.
That's a fucking terrible experience. So was that your last? You did, yeah. Was that your last Vegas experience or what?
That was my one and only Vegas experience. Okay. So man, that was such a man, you can't fucking control yourself type of situation that I don't wanna know what happens now. Not that I have a lot of money by any means, but now that I'm not just a fresh out of college broke ass kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel that, bro. I mean, I've got a lot of funny, crazy Vegas experiences. I guess the last one, because we normally go on these trips every year with my brother for his birthday. So, the last one, my boys were hanging out with these girls, because, we got a lot of homies out in Vegas that live there. So, they, plug us with, tables and shit.
Yeah.
And so we got a buy one, get one free bottle. So we're like, cool, let's do it. So we got a couple bottles and we had a table and shit. And so they're these table groupies, man. And they'll be swarming around the table and trying to scam and shit, right?
Yep.
And so these normal looking girls were dancing on my homies and, they were having fun. As the evening goes on, I realize, and this happens all the time, and all my homies out there that have had bottle service or have had a table, they can attest to this. They literal prostitutes will come there and try to get your ass, and we call it getting trick rolled. And basically what happens was when you get trick rolled is they scam you into either getting your money or they roll you in a roundabout kind of way. Basically, just they take your money. Okay. And so I'm talking to this girl, and I realize I somehow get it out of her that she's a working girl. Right. That she's a prostitute.
Are you working or walking?
Yeah, I said, are you working or what? What the fuck you doing? And so my boys are like walking off, and I didn't realize it, and I'm talking to this prostitute, realizing that she's a prostitute. I'm like, wait a fucking minute. Those other two girls that you came with are probably hookers too. God damn it. My boys are like walking down the casino, and I'm like, oh fuck. And I was like, too slow motion. No. Ran after him and shit. And I was like, wait. I was like, let me talk to you. Pow wow. I brought it in to my boys, and I was like, look, these girls are hookers. Do not go outside with them. And they're like, oh shit. And they just kept walking. The hookers. They just kept walking. They didn't even turn around and look back at us. They knew that I had caught them. Yep, they knew that they were getting ready to fucking roll them. And I saved my boys from getting trick rolled by some hookers last year. Shout out Ramsey. Shout out Ahmed. Y'all motherfuckers, I saved your ass. All right. Remember that. You owe me.
Yeah, that's a good thing. No, don't nobody want that.
But yeah, that's just one of the many crazy fucking Vegas stories I got. But
so as far as like doing shows and shit, like who's maybe some of the who's your favorite, or like what's the biggest name that you've done a gig with that you've thrown down and shit?
Probably like Raekwon. Like he's probably like the biggest. He's probably like one of the biggest to date. That was a long ass time ago, but like
Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with.
That was one of the biggest to date, I think. But like, we've done a shitload of shows, and I've been just involved in a lot of shit since then. But Raekwon was just big for me because I'm a huge Wu-Tang fan. He thought I opened up his Grey Goose, which I did, and that was Freddie Gibbs. And I was in there, was chilling with Freddie, rolling up a joint. And at the time, I was unfamiliar with his music, and now he's one of my fucking favorite artists. And I was sitting there kicking it with him, rolling a joint, smoking a joint with Freddie, not knowing that he's a dope-ass motherfucking rapper. But yeah, bro. With Method Man's dope. Yeah, I've passed a couple blunts up to him, but I have yet to smoke with him. I've smoked a couple blunts with Afro Man, and yeah, man. It's been the show circuit. I've just been really showing love to homies at their shows lately because my baby brother, who's like the main my main MC on my label, because I work with a lot of artists, but they kind of like it's like a freelance thing. Like I collab with them, and then we do a shit powered by Lion League Music, but they're not necessarily like 100% on my label. Now my baby brother, he just got out of prison, and he literally just got out on parole today. Yeah, that's why I got held up getting here because my baby brother's out on parole. So it's really big news. But we're about to get back into shows. We're gonna be fucking slaying the stage again very fucking soon.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Very nice, man. It's always good to have someone to hit the ground running with. Have a running mate coming out the stable.
Fucking ain't right, buddy. Fucking ain't right.
So what's on the forefront? I mean, you got some events coming up. You got some more drops coming out, more singles on the schedule.
Yeah, bro, absolutely. Our plan for 2018 is to just like go quality and quantity. You know what I'm saying? Like really put out some really dope shit and at scale, and build awareness around our brand and around our fucking music, and try to build a local following, and get some good support from what I'm saying, like our region and our peers and shit before we try to go out and just dominate the world. You know what I mean? And show genuine love and work with a lot of people and not expect shit in return. Just like, what I'm saying? Some Gary V shit. Shout out Gary V, motherfucker.
Daily V, love that shit.
So just show love and fucking just build this scene and try to create a thriving, not only hip hop machine, but a thriving music machine. You know what I'm saying? And make this be a hub. Like there's no fucking reason why it couldn't. There's no reason why we couldn't be another Atlanta or another, just like a music hub.
So
Nashville.
Are you doing a lot of other multimedia production stuff too, in addition to just beats? A lot of like video stuff too. I mean, I know you did obviously the your Allen Iverson video and all that. Man. So doing other video production as well.
I got a real newfound passion for videography and directing and getting behind the camera and creating in that aspect and like doing content creation and building like that is really a newfound love for me. I want to eventually make fucking full on movies and documentaries and just go all out. But right now using music and hip hop as a platform to get that cracking, and I definitely love it to an extent to where it's like real close to making the music. You know what I'm saying? It's up there. So, I mean, I aspire to do some big things in that area for sure.
Very nice, man. Very nice. So, if you had to name in that respect, since we talked about producers earlier, who would you say, give me a top 5? I've got to ask everybody on the music side of things, who's your top 5 MCs? I mean, it's a hip-hop fans question across the board, you know what I'm saying?
So, I struggle with this one because I'm a big hip-hop fan, but... If are we talking lyricists? We talking like rappers? Dead or alive? Are we talking
dead or alive?
Are we talking like all time, like goats? Like all times?
Yeah.
Damn. Nas. This is in no particular order. I don't think I could order this. Nas. Big Pac, Outkast, maybe Wu-Tang. Yeah, I know Wu-Tang is 9 motherfuckers, or 10 if you include Capadonna, but as a collective, as like Wu-Tang albums and shit and shit like that, then I think those are like the top like 5. They have made the best music so far. Like now, Kendrick is like number 6. I've got like some cats that I think that are like obvious goats that are gonna be in Hip Hop Hall of Fame that I think are just like dope as fuck. And then I also like have artists that I think are like really exceptional lyrically. Like the Royce the 5'9" and shit like that. But I guess if you were just like lay out the top 5, boom, like that's just like right off rip.
It's hard for me not to put Big L in the mix. Like
Big L's,
love Big L.
He just didn't have
enough body of work.
Yeah, like Big had a lot to work with.
I can't remember who it was that. It was a pretty big name that was making the argument that Biggie, he doesn't consider him in his tops anymore. Like I love Biggie, don't get me wrong. Like, but he was saying that based off of body of work, that now that hip hop has expanded for so much that he just didn't have the volume to to what he did.
Yeah,
but I disagreed with what he said.
I think
from the standpoint that what Biggie did was so transcendent.
Yeah, impact, timelessness. Like he embodies the perfect like if you were to take the two like poetry and like flow and cadence and break it up into two, you got Biggie and Tupac. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like flow, cadence, delivery, style, that goes to Biggie, bro. That goes to Biggie. Poetry, impact, fucking, activism, social activism, message, that goes to Pac.
Yep.
And that's why they're regarded as some of the greatest, like arguably the greatest.
Pac is my favorite of all time.
Yeah. He's definitely he's way up there for me too, man. And I really his body of work and what it has done to hip hop and you're right. It transcends some shit, you know, because it does it's social commentary as well as it's like, you know, just real shit, and then it's like fun, and there's some party to it, and it's lighthearted, but it's also because that's what life is, bro.
Right.
Like life isn't all one thing. Life isn't all one dimension. It's a lot of things, you know. So that's why Pac was really a reason why Pac was great.
Oh well, just and you mentioned, you know, just the way that each of them still been able to be so relevant. You know, I mean, it's been well over 20 years since the passing of each of them, or alleged passing if you're a Tupac conspiracy believer out there. But you know, it's been a long time since they passed. Right. But the impact is still huge. I mean, you go through, you know, you go through the neighborhoods. You know what neighborhoods I'm talking about out there. Like you'll see Pac murals everywhere. Yeah. Like you'll still see those. I mean, they're still everywhere. As far as I feel like Biggie's kind of taken more of a commercial like impact in pop culture now, like so much more posthumously. Yeah. Just because you see so many designs out there that are kind of parodied off of like the Coogee sweater look. Yeah. You know, like, I mean, the boom from from the Jesus pieces coming, you know, from a long time. He was kind of the big push of that huge Versace shape, you know, Versace's. That was kind of a Biggie move in the beginning that all kind of started the notorious Conor McGregor, you know. I mean, he made his big boom and his big fight coming out to Biggie shit. Like, his nickname is after, you know, is based on that, you know, making that impact. So I mean, like he's like, you know, they talk about like it's your favorite rapper's favorite rapper, but now it's like since like we have a whole other generation of rappers and shit, it's your favorite rapper's favorite rapper's favorite rapper. It's like they're always gonna be, it's always gonna be that chain, bro. Like they're always gonna be the fucking like the grandfathers, the great grandfathers, the great great grandfathers of rap. Like they're always gonna be regarded as the top, and it's real. It's just a fact. I love like real New York hip hop, like true New York MC, like lyrical swordsmiths. Like I'm talking like the Locks, like the just, you know, as far as recent work, the Jadakiss with Fabulous, like that Freddy versus Jason. I love that shit just because. I only heard a couple joints off of it that they were tight as fuck. Like I gotta give it the real listen though. I gotta give it a real listen. I gotta give Prime 2 a real listen also. Like I've been sleeping on that shit. I've just like what's been happening is when I get like in the creative mode, like I'm really only bumping my own shit, and then like when I'm at the gym, I'm like bumping like a playlist or a couple playlists or some like a hype album or something, because I also like hardcore and punk rock. Like that's where I got my start. So I'll be bumping that type of shit, but like mostly I just be bumping my own shit when I'm in creative mode and when I'm like making albums and shit like that. Because, you know, I don't know, man, I'm just like always constantly trying to make the mix sound better, trying to make some, you know, the kick sound crispier or whatever the fuck, you know? Oh yeah, totally understand you there. So, if you had to say what's one of the biggest things, you know, life lesson wise that you've came away with, you know, you're better half of a decade into the game, what's your come away? My come away is if you're not patient, you will not succeed. And if you don't have a thick skin, then you're gonna also have a real hard time. I guess those are two things that just like boom right off the rip jumped right into my head, because, you know, being patient, man, if you're not patient with this shit, you might as well quit. Because it's difficult. It's hard. It's hard to learn how to produce music. It's hard to learn how to mix really well and master. It's hard to learn how to market yourself. It's hard to fucking go on stage and play in front of fucking 4 people and, you know what I'm saying, make fucking no money and, you know, go work your shitty 9 to 5. It's fucking hard to do. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta do it and you gotta chase that fucking dream. Or what the fuck is this life about, man? Like, what the fuck you doing this shit for? You just gonna go and work some shitty job that you hate
and do that until you're fucking 50, and then realize you should have fucking went and done that. Maybe you should take a pay cut and like not worry about it. Maybe you should just like do what you love.
Yep.
Maybe that's what you should fucking do.
Yeah, no, that's totally it.
Right.
I feel like too many people just get stuck in a comfort zone. That's more than anything. They're stuck in a comfort zone of a guaranteed paycheck. I had a conversation with a really good friend of mine last night about this. On that side of things, he was just like, yeah, like even in my life, like I've just gotten used to my steady paycheck on that side of things. I've just gotten comfortable. Like, yeah, and the thing is that's not always the worst thing in the world. Like, if you're happy,
if you're happy with that shit, see, that's I guess the main thing.
You have fulfillment within your life.
Yes.
Then by all means do you that. But where I have issue is the people who are in a predicament that they're not happy, but you're not doing shit about it. Yeah. You're still going through the motions on a day-to-day basis. You're just going back to that same shitty job situation, just like you said, and you hate it, but you're not making any sort of moves to get better. And I think part of the biggest issue is people just don't know what the fuck they want. They don't know what they want to do.
Yeah.
They don't know what direction that they want to go. And because they don't know where they ultimately want to land, or because they're not having to experience any sort of real discomfort or any sort of real fear of losing things because they have that safety net of that real job, there's nothing out there for anybody to go all into.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier once you find the why to your what. Once you find what it is that is really driving you, or where you want to go, you see that light at the end of the tunnel for what you're trying to get, and then you go all fucking in trying to get there.
Fucking right.
Yeah, and so many people don't find tough. What that is.
Well, and because it's hard. It's hard to do. Like, I was just like, I'm fucking blessed to just like know that I needed to be in music since I was young. Since I was like 17, I've always known that music is gonna be the thing. I always knew that like media and like creation was gonna be my thing, but I was just like, I'm fortunate to know that, and I recently realized that I wanted to be like a real life entrepreneur and diversify and really do this shit the right way and build wealth. And fucking have many streams of income and build successful businesses and build a real legacy. You know what I'm saying? So my kids are cool. And I want to really build something big, but I'm just really blessed to know that I wanted to do music, and I've known that I wanted to do music, and not everybody has that luxury, And what I would suggest to you, if you don't have that luxury, is to fucking, you gotta try some shit, man, or you're never gonna know. You gotta try things, If like you always had this like want to like paint, then fucking do it, dude. And if anybody has some shit to say with it, then tell them to fuck off, man, because it's not their fucking life.
Absolutely, and I feel like that's the thing is there's a fear of what somebody might think. There's a fear of the criticism. There's a fear of the failure.
Oh, especially in music, bro.
Absolutely,
people
in
won't
music,
release music.
Creative.
Yeah, people won't release shit. They won't drop shit because they're scared of what some motherfucker that doesn't matter is gonna think, or like they're scared of some shit that just in the grand scheme of things means fucking nothing. Like, and it's true, bro. It petrifies people to create and to execute.
And I could totally understand where the fear and the anxiety of that sort of things comes because, in our climate of society today, with social media, hey, people are vicious online, man.
People are dicks. People are dicks.
Absolutely brutal on that.
But there are also a lot of really dope ass people too, like
that
really
100%
great
correct.
People that show you a lot of love. That if you're genuine and if you're being true to yourself, you'll get more love than hate.
Absolutely.
Hate's just loud as fuck. Hate just makes a lot of noise. It makes more noise than love sometimes,
Yeah, and it's just because I feel like, deep down, anybody who puts something out, that you put your heart and soul into, fuck, you want everybody to like you. But also at the same time, I recognize, even within this outlet, there's going to be people who aren't fans. There's going to be people who don't like or fuck with what's going on, and that's cool.
That's how it goes.
There's other channels. There's other stuff that's out there.
Yeah, that's just part of it, bro. Like it's just a natural byproduct, as Snoop Dogg said. Like if you don't have any haters, then you're not really doing shit. You have to be doing shit to get haters. Yep. You gotta be making shit happen to even get haters in the first place. So congratulations if you have them.
Yeah, like just this last week, I was out in Old Town, and this dude who, hey, I've known him for a couple of years. Thought, we're cool friends, all that, but he was drunk. I've not drank in months now at this point, but he was, just started tripping, talking all kinds of crazy shit. Like, well, show me your receipts and my business numbers. Like, dude, I don't have to show you a fucking thing. Like, anybody who fucking, unless we're doing business together on that side of things, like, go fuck yourself. I don't have to give you anything on that.
You ain't gotta do shit for anybody. Bro.
But yeah, so then he just started, but then because I told him that, like, I don't have to show you shit. And then he started, trying to get, chesty on, like, this is just fucking stupid.
There's just, there's a lot of ego, and there's a lot of, like, puff up bullshit out there, because, like, motherfuckers are just bored, dude. Like, they're just, like, hella bored, and, like, ain't got shit going on, so they're, like, trying to start shit with people to give them some excitement. It's just constant. It happens all the time, dude. It happens on the internet all the time.
Absolutely. And that's where once again, like, I got to touch back to, the people that drive me the craziest in that sense are the ones who, you're sitting there going through that routine thing. You're watching every show that's on. And I was this guy at one point, so I can totally say that. Hey, I was the one who was, I guess, the leech, or the, not the leech, but just the one who was just kind of dragging it along, just, going through the motions with the process.
I just call it zombify. You know what I'm saying? You're just zombied out. You're just kind of doing shit. You don't know why, but you're just kind of doing shit just to do shit and pay your bills, because that's what's getting it done. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. But, if you're, like I say, if you're content just binge watching the shit out of Netflix, HBO, whatever, all of that, and you're cool with that life, you're making a healthy,
you're fulfilled,
living, all of that, cool. But if you're binge watching all of that, you're watching, I love sports, but if you're watching every single game that's out there, all the different sporting events and all that sort of shit, but you're complaining at the end of the day about your ends and about how you're not having this and that opportunity, I think you maybe need to reevaluate where you're spending your time and what your priorities are on when it comes to that. Because
100.
We all have the same 24 hours.
Bet, yeah.
We all have the same 24 hours, and it's a matter of how much you want to maximize your opportunities within that. I have a job. I have kids. I have this, that, whatever.
There's a lot of excuses out there, but
there's
honestly,
a lot
man,
of things out there, but
if one motherfucker did it, if like one person did it one way, like, you don't got an excuse. You know what I'm saying? Like my friend, really good friend of mine, man, had a fucked up upbringing. His mom was a piece of shit, and he's a fucking great human being, and does a lot of great things, and fucking kills it. So I mean, there's just no excuse. I mean, there are reasons. And there are things that drive you, and there are things that there are obviously things that are a part of your story that play a factor in how you behave. But you just got to overcome. We're all battling shit. We all been through some fucked up shit. So it's like some people have had it harder, some people have had it easier, but we're all going through something.
That's the truth. That's where I really fuck with Gary Vee on a lot of that stuff, because he just nobody cares. I've gone through some terrible tragedy. Nobody fucking cares out there in the real world. Yeah. Like, yeah, it hurts inside. There's the pain, there's the grieving, there's all the suffering on that side of things. But when you put it into the real world sense of things, that person who's out there who is working a different outlet, doing something, they don't care. The world in general doesn't care about your personal shit that's going on.
Because it keeps moving.
It keeps on moving. You know what I mean? It keeps on moving. Our time here on this rock that is traveling 1,000,000 miles an hour through the fucking universe, like, crazy as that is, that we're sitting here and we're delivering a conversation to listeners all over wherever they decide to listen to from a little fucking device that is 7 inches in your pocket. Like, crazy as that is. But our time on this planet is that of like a pinhead in a linear sense of what the universe is.
Yeah.
So
Make it count.
exactly.
Make it count.
Make it count for as much as you can. There's a lot of wasted opportunity. You know, you mentioned it before that you just a lot of times you get too late into your life, so you think, to be able to go make something happen, but you know, sometimes it's a matter of figuring out what is holding you back.
Well, yeah, regret's scary. So
it could be yourself, it could be your significant other. You know, for some people it's the fact of, you know, like, oh well, if I decide to try to start this business venture or to begin on this, you know, the road to this opportunity, is, you know, that amount of time that I'm no longer going to be spending with my spouse, is that going to
be detrimental?
Derail, you know, be detrimental and derail our relationship, you know, all so on and so, you know, there's a lot of different factors that, you know, people weigh in.
I mean, you just got to like understand that, like, ultimately, you know, it's not about anybody but you. Right. You know, like your happiness, like, even if we're talking about like your kids or your spouse or something like that, you being happy will make them happy. You know, like, you can't be your best self in this life. You can't give out your best self and give your best love out if you're not happy with with yourself and what you're fucking doing.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. Like, you know, I just think back to, you know, like a year ago to this point, before, you know, before any of this project had started, before that had kind of gotten up and running, like, just the place mentally was just a lot different, man. You know, and that there was a lot of rocky road travels that got to the point where it was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going all in with this idea. You know, it was a Frank Mir quote. I mean, we talked about this a little bit before, and we'll get into it after this, but you know, it was a Frank Mir quote that really kind of inspired me to get the ball rolling with this and get it back up and going. And his quote was, I'll paraphrase it. I don't want to give it a direct quote here because I might butcher it. But it was something along the lines of, the real hell is when you die, you get to meet the person you could have been. And so, you know, just always having the idea to this, exactly like that. You know, everybody I tell that to is like, real. Damn, that's some real shit right there. That's real. And so, you know, I saw that, and for, you know, a couple of weeks straight, right at around the turn of the year, like, it just kept on resonating, just playing over and over in my head, seeing that quote. And so then it was just like, you know what, you got to do it. Yeah. You know, you got to just take the leap, just start. And from there, here we are.
Stop worrying about people. Stop worrying about everybody else but yourself, and just fucking do it.
Exactly.
Get it going.
You know, this is now, you know, this is, I believe, going to be like episode 27, or, you know, we're past 25 at this point. So,
fuck yeah.
You know, up and
congrats, running. Man. 27. Yeah. Let's get it, bro. Let's get it.
Thanks, man. You know, up around, you know, just shy of 1,000 on Facebook. We're creeping out, you know, we're trending more than 100 followers per month on Instagram. So upwards of close to 600 right now. So everybody out there, if you can, you know, share the page, that would be greatly appreciated. Comments from the Peanut Gallery on Instagram, at Peanut Sports on Facebook, at Peanut Podcast on Twitter. You can follow the exact, you know, all the blogs, all that on galleriesofpeanuts.com. You could hit up the online shop. We got the fresh new tanks available in stock. Those are going to be at cftpg.com.
CFTPG.
So we've got a lot of good stuff out there. Real quick, I just want to throw a shout out to the Terp House for the best in CBD out there in the industry. Make sure that you go to the Terp. Yep, that's that right there. To the terphouse.com. They've got everything from topicals to body butters, the sublinguals, everything that you need to make sure that your body stays right. Make sure that you check them out. There's also an episode that was just put out right before this with the CEO of the company, Mr. Brandon Lambert. Shout out to you, sir. So if anybody out there wants more information on the benefits of how CBD can impact your life for the better, make sure that you check out that information, and that's www.theterphouse.com. I also want to throw a shout out to, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this from the visual board. It looks good from my end right here as we're doing this live. But I want to throw a shout out to Mr. Jordan Totoni of Factory X down there in Denver. He has a fight coming up on the LFA card on Access TV. That is going to be in Beaumont, Texas on June 22nd. It's going to be live, like I say, on national TV starting at 7 p.m. I also want to throw a shout out to my man Daniel Lil Scary Carey. That is my man fighting for Bellator on the 202 card, in Oklahoma at the WinStar Casino and Resort. He is going to be fighting on July 13th. That's a Friday, and that's going to be airing on the Paramount Network. So make sure that y'all keep them in mind. Head over to their pages, show them some love. Shout out to you guys out there, and also a shout out to the Lone Wolf Beard Company, Colorado's premium all-natural beard product provider.
And go follow me on Instagram, Joey_Swahv, SWAHV, LionLeagueMusic.com, like Justice League, but with a lion instead. Lion League Music, all one word, YouTube. Lion League Music, all one word, Instagram. At Joey Swahv on Snapchat and Twitter.
Yeah, make sure you give my man a follow. Like I say, man, I really do want to say thank you for coming on.
Appreciate you having me, homie. I appreciate you having me, bro. Like, I appreciate you just showing love from afar. You know what I'm saying? And like, showing Tina love, reposting. You know what I'm saying? And like exposing us to your audience. And just like helping push the local scene and do all that, bro. It's real talk. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, boss. Yeah, like I say, we're in it for a lot of the same goals, the same vision. We're starting something from the ground up, and I've talked with a couple of people out there. Shout out to Brian the Predator Rogers out there. We support a lot of the same people in some of our different circles.
Yeah.
There's no reason why we can't continue to all keep on building each other up.
Let's build each other up, man.
Keeping that network and keeping the love going all across the board.
Speaking of building up, let's just do some shout outs. Shout out Thin Air Crew.
Shout out to A-Will.
A-Will. Shout out DMFC. Shout out Tino the Smooth. J-Man. K-Dub. Shout out fucking Khalil Perkins. Shout out Seisu. Shout out fucking Sean Washington, the homie just got out here from North Dakota. We about to put on. That's he's gonna be in Lion League, repping that shit hard, being my right hand man. I've got OP is coming out, dropping some new shit, some of that new homecoming shit. Look out for Swish 2. That's just gonna be dropping July 11th. That's gonna be on all platforms. And we're going to have another music video to promote that as well. But that's going to be a surprise. Nice. So, Jordan, appreciate you, dog.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. So, you obviously mentioned before, and we kind of touched on it a little bit, that you've done a little bit of MMA yourself. You've done some Muay Thai in the mix.
A little bit, bro, yeah. I got in there, that was like 10 years ago, bro. I ended up getting jumped at this fucking college party, man. I didn't really know what the fuck I was doing. And, long story short, I decided to get into some MMA with my homeboy Cody. And, it was at Gambare Fight Gym down in Florence, Colorado. Shout out Brad over there. And, my homie Logan and Cody kind of just put me on game, taught me how to fight. They were great wrestlers, and they dumped me on my ass, so I had to learn some jiu-jitsu relatively fucking quickly, or else I got my fucking ass beat. But I was pretty good on my feet. I was good with the Muay Thai. I was good with striking. I haven't been keeping up with MMA as much lately, but some of my fighters back in the day were like, your Ben Henderson's and your like Vanderlei Silva in his prime, and like Rampage in his prime, and like shit like that. Like, I love cats like that. the boxers, the stand-up dudes. You know what I'm saying? So
It's hard not to love Vanderlei way back in the day, especially just
in the pride game, his pride game, like was crazy, and
almost like a cook.
he's crazy, bro. He was fucking insane. But yeah, man, like I think that I had a whole new respect for the game when I got in it, man. Like I was just like, shit, this is a whole fucking world, and I loved it, bro. It's fucking tight. Yeah, probably have to get back into it, bro. Start hitting that bag again.
It's just, I mean, I love mixed martial arts, man. It's just, to me, especially, there's so much soft shit that's out there in the world today. Like, we've just grown to, I've said it many a times throughout the show or on some of the different social media posts, we've gotten to such a high level of pussification within society.
Pussification.
That, oh yeah, man, just, shit is so soft. Like, like the NBA, like I used to love the NBA, but now I can barely even stand watching it just because it's so soft. Like with half of the shit that goes on, like, I mean, you barely get tapped and, oh no, there's a whistle. Like, whereas back in the day, like, especially playoff basketball, physicality was a part of the game. Yeah. Like, that was a factor in the actual gameplay. It wasn't that it was just such a ticky-tack sort of thing. And the whole, super team, like, everybody's going to be buddy-buddy, this and that. Like, no, like, there was vitriol between the different teams back then,
oh, for sure.
You would have never, you had your dudes up in Seattle with Kemp and Payton, and you had your boys with the Jazz in Malone and Stockton. Then you had, you're just different guys that, hey, you knew that you were going to war when you were going with them. You went to New York going against the knockdown Knicks. You know that it was going to be, a tough night if you're driving the lane and you got to go up against Charles Oakley and Patrick Ewing.
It was scrappy as fuck, bro. But like, it's like there's a lot of fucking talent out there now, bro. Like, arguably a little more, maybe. I don't, like I'd have to like sit down and fucking really look at that. You know what I'm saying? But like, there's a lot of great talent out there now. I mean, it probably is a little softer as far as how they call shit, for sure.
Well, there was a social media post, or there was a meme that got put up. I can't remember by which outlet exactly originally, but one of my buddies reposted it, and it was who would win between like the Golden State Warriors of today or versus that Pistons team of way back, the Pistons of like 04 or whatever it was with Chauncey, with Sheed, with Tayshaun Prince, Ben Wallace, Rip Hamilton, and all of that crew. That was when the big rule changes started to come into effect that started to benefit offense, because that NBA Finals, like I believe, like, the majority of those games were in the 80s and 90s as far as scoring goes, because the defense that the Pistons played was so locked down tight on that high octane offense of what the Lakers had of 4 Hall of Famers on that offense, because they picked up fucking Gary Payton and Karl Malone to try to chase that last one. And they got shut down. So the league changed the rules up, just like in the NFL, to benefit offense. To benefit offense for like the scoring side of things. Yeah. So that's just a big change in how the game is overall. And I can't stand some of the excuses that get made within some of the guys out there. And don't get me wrong, LeBron James he's the number 2 guy of all time, but at this point, to me, he's never going to pass Jordan. Especially now that
how old is he now? 32 or 33? How old is he?
Like 32, 33, somewhere in there.
Like, he's really, really good still. I mean, say he's got like 5, like, good years in him. Mm-hmm. And, like, I mean, Tim Duncan played till he was 40. You know what I'm saying? Say it. So like he could the
mentality side of things. You know what I mean? Like there were just some real, to me, soft ass moments that LeBron had throughout some of the moments within the finals and throughout the playoffs in general.
I agree, bro, but
I just don't think that you would have seen from Jordan or Kobe.
Just like look at it like this, bro. Like my brother, he got a full ride, played D1 over at University of Illinois Chicago. And so we're a basketball family. So, like, basically the dude told me, and, like, this is just how you play the game, that, like, all aspects of the game come into play. Whether that be, getting into the fucking ref's ear a little bit and like kind of just like probing him and being like, hey, watch him on the block, or he's been reaching in the paint, then they will fucking subconsciously look more in the paint.
Right.
And however you look at it, there's just like there's some chess moves involved, and when it all the way down to flopping, all the way down to like getting into these refs' ears, all the way down to talking shit to your opponents, all of that is part of the game, and it's always been part of the game. You know what I'm saying?
Flopping is I just fucking hate it.
It's whack.
Yeah.
I mean, it's whack. Not everybody does it, but it is a tool. You know what I'm saying? It's a tool. Like some of the best floppers in the game driving to the rack were fucking like Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker. You know what I'm saying? But there's some of the greatest guards in the game.
No, you're completely right, and
they're just aspects of the game that are utilized by motherfuckers, and LeBron utilizes that aspect of the game pretty heavily, and cats have a they got a way about it. Now, if I were to go back and watch a bunch of Jordan games, I'm sure Jordan would get a lot of calls. And Kobe got a lot of motherfucking calls. You know that.
He did get a lot of calls.
Kobe got his calls, boy. He got his calls.
But Kobe was also a dude who had ice in his veins that, it wasn't a thing of like, I don't give a fuck if it was a size disadvantage to that effect or not. Like,
dude, he played against super teams too and won. Like he played against fucking Celtic super teams.
There was a couple of those
with
times
KG,
where I think
Allen.
it was game 3. It was like 93-90 with like a minute left somewhere in there in that game, and KD's taking the ball down the court, and Steph's coming across and sets the screen, and I can't remember who it was from the Cavs. That was then the switch on that. LeBron, you decide to take Steph on the switch, and you don't go body up on KD, who has just been wet from everywhere like the last 5 minutes. Just been dropping, and so then
it's like
because
at that point it's like
you don't step up on him.
The lesser two evils, you know what I'm saying? It's like voting for Hillary or fucking
But if you are trying to really be on some GOAT level type shit. And it was the same thing last year. Like, it wasn't Steph that was driving the dagger. It was KD that was driving the dagger with hitting big shots down the stretch. Same thing in that game 3. He's right there, and you're right up on him. So then you don't take him, and then he goes and he hits from like 35 feet and just puts the icing on the cake and goes up 96-90 with less than a minute or whatever the exact time was. I just feel like from the defensive side of things or from the mentality side of things,
think about it, bro. Like,
Jordan or Kobe are saying, no, fuck that screen. I'm fighting through the screen and I'm taking this motherfucker because I know that right now he has the hot hand. He's not giving up the rock right now. He's taking this shot.
Well, all these super crucial moments that we think are like all on the back of LeBron. Like we gotta also think about all of like the misexecutions by the rest of his team.
Oh, I agree.
Like the rest of his team misexecuted, and we can't like all put it on dude because he's like one of the GOATs. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he's a GOAT, but like, bro, like he had a 5-point game and like 3 40-point games and fucking 6 double-doubles and 4 triple-doubles. Like he fucking went off, dude. He went ham. So and like nobody's
trying to discredit
I'm just saying like he went off. Like he fucking went off, and like arguably if he had just like one other even mid-level score, like a 20-point a game kind of guy that could like accommodate some assists at least, and like take some fucking take some of that weight off of LeBron offensively, so then he could be more aggressive on the defensive end. Then shit, you got to look at like from a whole team perspective, bro, because it like dominoes all the way down.
And I get
all the way down to your team, to your key player, the one that you rely on the most. You know what I'm saying?
I get that. But, just another kind of,
But it's like always the GOAT, it's like always the GOAT conversation. It's like, is he the GOAT? Is he better than Jordan? It's like, that's what it always comes down to. And it's just like, man, I'm just a basketball fan.
Another soft-ass moment for me, just to, to have another example, too. It's just like, man, like, I want to give you the benefit of the doubt. But, this was, so you have, 15 years with no major injury or anything like that. You can't wait another 30 minutes until after the press conference to put that fucking splint on. You know, the little like hand wrap thing. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
I feel that. You know, you never know. You never know. Like he could be. I don't know, bro. Like you never know what's going through a motherfucker's head.
I get it, but I'm just saying.
He
like,
might have just wanted to show him like, yo, like.
But to me, like just from looking at it from this vantage
It
point,
seems like this is why I lost.
Like, yes, like
I understand
this is an excuse. You know, like this. Oh well, you know, like. I lost because I lost control and I punched a fucking board and you know like or it's another look at me type of thing, which that's just the only like that's what drives me crazy. It's like,
but at the same time, it's like he might have just this many years and it being.
But
guy,
as savvy as he is though, man,
guy.
like he knew what he was doing with that. That dude is calculated with it, you know, outside of the decision, is very calculated with his media, with how he handles himself.
True.
So he knew damn well what he was doing by going out there with having that splint on. It was a poor me situation. Like I did all of this despite having a broken hand type of whatever. Like,
there's no
man.
way to definitively say though. You know what I mean?
You're right.
There's no way to definitively say. Like it could be. At the same time, you know, it's like he's a GOAT. Like, why the fuck would he care? You know what I mean? Like, why would he? Like, he's a GOAT. Like,
I feel like he's just.
I don't know if he's worried
about
his legacy.
Of it with social media and everything.
True.
He's very
to an extent,
sensitive to a lot of some of the.
I guess maybe to an extent, but I think that he's confident with his legacy as a basketball player.
Yeah. I would agree. Like it's just little things like that fucking
irk you. Yeah,
like,
that makes sense. That's how I always was with Kobe, and now that like
Kobe was like
now that he's retired, I fuck with him way more because he's not beating my team.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like things, it just changes, dog. Like everybody's gonna be like, man, I was a little hard on LeBron. He's really a fucking awesome player. Whenever he retired. You know what I'm saying?
But it's it's a thing like with Kobe, like. Kobe tore his fucking Achilles.
Yeah.
And got up and shot the free throws. And then licked his wounds after it. He still completed the fucking. He's like, no, nobody's gonna shoot my free throws.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about a cat that's like just come from a different, like a little bit different era
DNA,
and DNA and like just a different player altogether. You know, like we're talking like. We got two different cats here, you know, like just like, you know, you got like a Westbrook kind of guard and then you got like a Steph kind of guard.
Yeah.
No, you know what I'm saying? One's like just intense, aggressive, athletic, and one's just like calculated and meticulous and like a sniper.
Yep. No, you're completely right on that. It's just, like I say, there's a difference. There's just a difference in the makeup of player.
True. 100.
And I troll LeBron a lot. I do like LeBron overall, but
he's cold, bro. He's super dope.
It's just for me being growing up, being a Jordan by name, being
by name,
a Jordan fan, just my entire life, growing up, a '90s kid in that respect. I still hold on to a lot of that nostalgia, and then
absolutely. That's the whole thing about that era, and like them dudes that grew up with him is they have a hard time, like accepting LeBron to be in the conversation. You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna give a lot of pushback. And it's natural, man. It's just a byproduct of being a GOAT. Because like Muhammad Ali had the same thing going on with him. People doubted him and people didn't think he was a GOAT and for all these reasons and blah blah blah. And this motherfucker was telling
they called him unpatriotic.
Yeah, my dad loved boxing, and he just didn't like him because he was so cocky. And that's just that's like a Vanderlei, or not a Vanderlei, Anderson Silva type thing, where it's like I loved him because he was so cocky. People hated him because he was cocky.
Right.
And then he like broke his fucking leg in half or some kind of crazy shit, and I don't know if he's been the same since, or if he's been fighting that much lately, but
he hasn't had a syringe out of his ass since.
Well, that's unfortunate because he was really dope. But like, yeah, man,
on suspension.
Yeah, that sucks. But like, I don't know. The goats will always get pushback, just like we were talking about earlier. When like, if you ain't really doing shit, you ain't gonna get any pushback.
Yep.
If you're doing a bunch of shit, you're gonna get a lot of pushback. Just byproduct.
You know, like I say, it's there for a reason. You know, all of this talk with LeBron being up there because he is that good. You know,
Right.
there is a reason on that side of things. But it's just, you know, like, it's like, man, Nike, like, of all times, like, this isn't the right time to make that the Chosen One commercial. Have you seen that one?
I don't think so.
So it's basically like a young LeBron walking into the tattoo shop, and he says, I want to get this, and hands it to the artist. The artist's like, are you sure? Like, yeah. And then they pan it over, and, you know, like, it shows, like, the stencil of Chosen One, and it's like a young LeBron. And, you know, just like, you know, like, that was.
And so they dropped that after they won, or what? After they lost?
This was like leading into the finals. I don't remember exactly when it came out, but sometime during the playoffs, for the last few weeks that this came out. But it was just, you know, that was one of the first big things that, like, you know, that LeBron did in that sense. It was like
kind of pompous. You know, exactly, I guess, like, I feel that, bro, because, like, you remember when, like, Lil Wayne was having, like, this crazy run with the Carter 3 and shit, and just, like, insane. I was Wayne hating. I was, like, just, like, I didn't get why everybody was dick riding him so hard, bro. And like, I just wasn't on that wave. And auto-tune was pissing me off. And, like, all that shit was just, like, rubbing me the wrong way. So I went against it purposefully because everybody fucked with it so much almost.
Yeah.
And it annoyed me. And he's, like, calling himself the best rapper alive and all this shit. And I'm like, I disagree. So, like, I felt a way about that. And so it was just, like, an unnecessary amount of trolling, you know what I mean? And so then I grew up, and, like, I just, like, started liking Drake and like Lil Wayne and, like, shit like that was like more mainstream or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Yeah. And then I came back to Carter 3 and I was like, this shit is dope as fuck. Like, this shit is so dope. And I was like,
Kanye produced.
And I was like sleeping on it on purpose. You know what I'm saying? Just to be a dick, you know, and just to be just to be like, no, he's not one of the best.
Yes, exactly.
You know, and then I went back and I was like, man, I was just being a fucking bitter asshole, you know, and I'm not saying that's what y'all gonna be like with fucking LeBron or whatever the case may be, but, like, sometimes it's stuff to just recognize greatness for greatness. You know what I'm saying? Just, like, recognize that shit for what it is and let it be, you know, because of all the politics that are around it. You know, like his fucking press conferences and his fucking commercials and all that kind of shit.
Not 2, not 3. Like, all of that sort of stuff is the stuff that's always just been like, man, like, if you just let what you did out there, and I'm not saying that you know, athletes don't use your, by all means, you use whatever, but be smart in what you say. Just, like, come on, man, like, you have to know that, you know, you're
millions of people are looking at you through a magnifying glass. Exactly.
You know, you got to know the temperature of the room of who you are, especially, like, if you're a LeBron James, if you're a Tiger Woods, if you're a, you know, in, like, the MMA world, like a John Jones or a Conor or somebody like that, like, you are held in such high regard of your sport that, yes, you want to be just a regular person, but you're not just a regular person.
You're not, yeah. Or you kind of did that to yourself by becoming a great.
Exactly. So in that sort of way, like,
and like Bones Jones, like, everybody's always pushing for Bones Jones, and everybody wants him to, like, succeed and kill the game, but it's just like Bones Jones doesn't want Bones Jones to succeed.
He just keeps on fucking himself over.
It's like we want him to succeed more than Bones Jones wants him to succeed.
Yep. And, you know, hopefully all of this clears up. You know, it's from what Jeff Nowitzki said, it's not as bad as what it sounded like with the most recent violation.
Honestly, like, I think he just like smokes some weed every once in a while, maybe pops some pills, maybe he, like, sniffs a little coke every once in a while or something. I don't know.
This last one was from substance called, I believe it's called, like, Turinabol or Turbinol, something along those lines.
Is that like an enhancement, like,
so it's like
energy
like
supplement or something?
Short term strength burst, like a power lifter type of steroid. But when he said that, based on the timeliness of when it was in his system and at the dosage, that it didn't make sense for him taking it for a competitive advantage. That, you know, for him,
as in it could have been in a supplement or some kind of shit.
That it could have been spiked, correct? You know, it could have been something that he didn't knowingly take. You know, from something contaminated, whatever. So hopefully all of that, it's been under, they've been heavily investigating that for months now. Hopefully that turns out in his favor. The news came out a couple of days ago that Dana's been actively trying to make the Bones and Brock Lesnar fight.
I saw that you posted something about that.
So I say you either have the most stringent and strict USADA testing protocol,
or
and make
none
sure
at all.
that both of these guys are clean as can be, or say fuck it and let him go full Uberim and just just
like
straight
couple
up
of Vikings,
old fucking Pride Day, old
Pride
days.
style, yeah.
And just do whatever the fuck you want. Brock, if you want to get juice to the gills, then do it. I still think John Jones is gonna beat the shit out of you.
You can get as juice as you want. He'll never get out of the first round, bro.
Yeah, John Jones will just John Jones is too good.
Bro, who just Chael Sonnen or who was it that took him past the first round and he just couldn't do it. Just couldn't even pick up his fucking arms, bro, after one round.
Yeah, I mean many a different.
But because
John Jones really hasn't lost. The only loss that he has was
Brock
from
Lesnar
beating somebody's ass so fucking bad that they called him for the 12-6 elbow, which is the stupidest rule.
The 12-6, bro.
The 12-6, which is the stupidest fucking rule in arguably one of the stupidest rules in all of MMA for that to be an illegal strike on the 12-6. But that's his only loss to his record is because of that illegal strike. Then there's the no contest from the DC.
It's no up kicking. It's no up kicking. No down kicking and no 12-6.
Right.
No
so
3 point stance.
Yeah, you can't kick anybody that's grounded. Yeah, and some of the the grounding with hands or with a grounded point, that's now different state by state. So that can be different depending
3 or 2.
Exactly, depending on where you're at, whether or not someone has a hand down for a knee or something that.
Or if they're picking
that's state by
themselves up.
state. So it's different in some places. So you
because cats used to do this to get out of the.
Exactly.
To
Chris White tried to do that
to get
against Gegard Mousasi and got knocked the fuck out because it was just that's what you get for trying to fucking pull a candy ass move. Yeah. I think we might be coming up close on running out of juice on the memory card. So
cool.
We'll wrap this guy up. So real quick, where can people follow you out there, boss?
Joey_Swahv on Instagram. LionLeagueMusic.com. Fucking Lion League, all one word. YouTube. Facebook/Swahv. Facebook/Lion League Music.
Perfect. So this is Comments from the Peanut Gallery podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Kurtz, a.k.a. Kurtzy F. Want to say thank you very much to my man Joey right here for coming through. Lion League Music. If it's all good with you, we're going to be throwing Allen Iverson on the outro.
Let's get it.
Make sure we promo that as much as we can for y'all. Make sure that you guys have a great evening. Head to www.cftpg.com and pick up your official Comments from the Peanut Gallery merchandise.
Get over there.
I'm supposed to be a franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we're talking about practice.
Yeah.
Not a game.
Look,
Not
my
a
crew
game.
some savages. Hometown Mac and shit. We dug in the 12s, we in the lack and shit. Roll the sweet up, baby girl, we got a pack and shit. Moving on to better things. I told y'all before I was trying to get the range, but it's strange that the states won't tempt me. Plus the candy paint got the girls on friendly. This a Louis bag, baby, please don't tempt me. Now this ain't a Bentley, but how about we hit the keys tomorrow? Skin on fleek so the trees will guard. I'm from the sun, baby girl. I'm the one, baby girl. When you with me, you ain't gotta bring your funds, baby girl. I'm a sultan, but still seeking the knowledge. So we ain't gon' blow money, we gon' deposit. We can't let these white people get all the profit. I prophesy about profit, I'm like a prophet, nigga. I'm AI the fourth, you can't guard 'em. My life a movie, my nigga, I'm just recording. I'm at the opera, you tryna get in the Oscars, you niggas Oscar. Most of you niggas been in the garbage. I'm just the A1 nigga, so hold your comments. What's in your heart, little homie, not in your pockets. That's why these hood rich niggas still in the projects. Is that too much for you, nigga? Let's change the topic. Look, she hit me on the Insta chat. Had a nigga like, damn, what a sensor at. Burn a nigga with the heat if he finna act. Beast in the east, don't get your wig pushed back.
Man, look, I hear
like that.
It's funny to me too.
That's real, right?
I mean, it's strange to me too. But we're talking about practice.
Why, hit like La Jolla. Should've went to Georgetown with it. Rookie AI on Jordan with the finish. Yo, nigga making major plays, is what I'm saying. But can't fade the game. Sky, take it to the ship. All the way to the peak, go fleece. I know a little something about Greece. Seen things like the other side of the globe. It's south of the borders, you can go. That's why my rap's so political. Maybe I should go and get a job at Politico. Analyze video, cops getting criminal. But God bless with the style so lyrical. Flow magnificent, sound so spiritual. Got the juice, you looking right amiss to me. Might spit it at my phone but won't do me. Heard they got caught up, but not how I got rushed. But that's what happened on the other side of rhyme. Niggas under pressure doing crime. Got niggas darting for the 9 as soon as niggas cross the line. Black suits for the service. Trying to dodge it on purpose. Tired of seeing all your homies in hearses. Hate a nigga hit you up for it, don't purchase. Hate it when she calling for the raw when I'm working. Inking my future, watching this circus. Real in the jungle, they been scared in the churches. I got the code, Da Vinci on spokes. Ride slow, that's candy on snow. Eyes closed, old school getting blow. Here for the dough, just thought you niggas should know.
You seeing out there, ref? You know that wasn't a foul. He barely even touched it, man. Hey, ref, let me holler at you real quick, player. Let me holler at you. Come on over. Let me holler at you real quick, player.